Leaky gut is a condition that can lead to debilitating digestive issues and the spread of inflammation throughout the body that opens you up to a whole host of health problems. But its simple name makes it hard to take seriously. In this video, I'll discuss leaky gut, how it happens, and what you can do to avoid it. Leaky gut does have a more sophisticated name, which is intestinal hyperpermeability. And both names conjure up the same image of substances leaking out or permeating through the intestinal wall. And this, of course, should not be happening because one of the main purposes of the intestinal wall is to act as a gatekeeper and carefully control the passage of substances between your gut and your bloodstream. But when we consider the delicate construction of the intestinal lining, it's not hard to imagine how this condition can develop. Your intestines are lined with a single layer of cells covered by a mucous membrane. Each of the cells in the lining sits very close together with what is called a tight junction between them. That single cell lining does two things. It allows nutrients from the foods you eat to pass into your body, and it acts as a barrier to prevent harmful things that would normally stay trapped in your gut from leaking into your bloodstream. When the tight junctions between the cells aren't working properly, the junctions become permeable, and that is what we refer to as leaky gut. When this occurs, harmful substances like bacteria can pass from your digestive system into your body, where they have the potential to wreak havoc and create a lot of inflammation and contribute to conditions like irritable bowel syndrome, arthritis, and possibly even contribute to obesity and metabolic diseases. So what happens that makes a gut leaky? Well, there are likely many contributing factors, including certain bacteria, vitamin deficiencies, and an excessive use of alcohol or NSAIDs like ibuprofen. But there is strong evidence that points to diet and gut health as being major contributors of leaky gut. And if you've heard of leaky gut before, you've probably heard the word gluten as well. Gluten is a protein found in our diet. Specifically, it is a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye that is made when two molecules, glutenin and gliadin, bond or stick together. And that stickiness gives foods with gluten like pizza dough their elastic nature and breads and cookies their soft, chewy texture. In his book Brain Maker, which draws links between gut health and brain health, Dr. David Perlmutter states that gluten's sticky attribute interferes with the breakdown and absorption of nutrients, which leads to poorly digested foods that can sound the alarm in the immune system, eventually resulting in an assault on the lining of the small intestine, which is what we see with the condition leaky gut. He also points out that processed foods and drinks that are high in manufactured fructose contribute to poor gut health, which increases the risk of leaky gut. So these points serve as good reminders that you cannot outrun the metabolic impact of a poor diet. Conditions like leaky gut develop over years, and those years we're thinking that we're getting away with our daily fast food trip and sodas and cookies and crackers. But these foods are stressing our metabolisms and will cause our bodies to reach a tipping point sooner or later. So how do you eat to avoid leaky gut? Well, you can make a lot of progress by eating a gluten-free diet and taking steps to promote good gut health. And I will share some specifics in a moment, but if I were to wrap it all up in one sentence, I would say that the best way to avoid leaky gut is to cook and eat a low-carb diet at home that is rich in whole foods and healthy sources of prebiotics. So let's look at what all of that means. A low-carb diet is naturally low in gluten because gluten is found in foods that do not typically find their way into a low-carb lifestyle, like cereals, breads, and pastas. Also, by cooking at home, you avoid restaurants, which can be tricky places to avoid glutens because glutens will show up in certain things like sauces. And when you cook whole foods at home, you naturally avoid processed foods that contain sugars and also that unnatural fructose that we talked about earlier. And eating at home makes it much easier to eat prebiotic foods, which are foods that contain fiber that is not easily broken down, so it makes its way down through your gut where it feeds those good intestinal bacteria. Onions and garlic are great examples of prebiotic foods that are very easy to work into many of your recipes. And eating plenty of low-carb, high-fiber foods like vegetables, nuts, seeds, and even low-sugar fruits like berries and lemons will also benefit your gut health, as will fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, and a high-quality yogurt that contains live cultures and no added sugar or sweeteners. And as for drinks, tea and coffee can be enjoyed because they provide your body with polyphenols, which are powerful antioxidants and are starting to show great promise for improving your gut health. I was recently contacted by Peak Teas and asked if I would try their teas in hopes that I might mention them on my channel. And I will say that I get these types of offers quite often and rarely find a product that I think stands out enough for me to mention. Peak Teas are exceptional, not only for their high level of polyphenols, but also for their convenience. To consume the tea, you literally just tear open one of the packets, dump it into a cup of hot water, give it a stir, and you have a superior cup of tea that required no steeping. Peak Teas are designed for gut health and deliver 12 times the polyphenols of regular store-bought teas. They have also been screened to remove heavy metals, molds, and pesticides, which are common in commercial teas. So if you would like a nice way to support your gut health, I encourage you to try the Peak Teas. And if you use my affiliate link in the video description area below, you'll receive 20% off and free shipping. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next week.